Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. We are finally back home peeps after 2 weeks in Saudi Arabia. The first week obviously in Riyadh for the 5 versus 5, the second week in Jeddah for the World Pool Championship. If you haven't been to Saudi Arabia before, Jeddah is way more relaxed and just loads more stuff to do than Riyadh. Has a beach as well, so I certainly enjoyed myself a bit more in Jeddah than Riyadh. Obviously I was there doing the pool, as I said, way out of my comfort zone, when I was told about the pool, so I was asked to do it. I've been asked to jump on the pool a few times and I've always said no, just because I don't know anything about pool. Like, I put my hands up and say I don't know anything about pool. So when I was asked to do it, I was like no, no chance, I ain't doing that. But then they were like, come on Addy, you're in Saudi Arabia, it's just an hour and a half flight. And I said, okay, I'll do it. I had no idea it was the World Pool Championship. I thought it was some exhibition, some way to get my feet wet. And then I think it was like 2 days into the 5 versus 5. I thought, okay, let me have a quick look. Let me see what they've sent over. And I was like, oh my God, World Pool Championship. So yeah, we had to dig deep, but we got it done. Again, it was fun. And I'm now a pool expert. Your boy knows everything. But yeah, enjoyed myself. But we are back on the green chair. It's good to be back as well, although maybe only for a few days. As I'm filming this now, just coming up to 12, there is a good chance that I go to Germany for the Euros. We're just waiting for a few things to get ironed out, but there's a good chance I fly out to Germany, or when? Friday. So, or no, Thursday, just before the first game on Friday. So we'll see. You guys will know when I know. All right, let's have a look and see what there is today. Frank Martin insists I'm ready for this opportunity. Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin this weekend. Let's have a quick look at the full card. I feel like it doesn't feel as big, maybe just because I've not been focused on boxing this week. But it just doesn't seem like it's got that big Gervonta Davis fight feel. I know that Benavidez, Vozdik's on the undercard. What else is on the undercard? David Benavidez versus Vozdik. Gary Antoine Russell versus Alberto Puello. Carlos Adames versus Terrell Gausha. It's a good card. Mark Masayo versus Eduardo Ramirez. Okay, this is a good card. Jesus Christ, how many fights on this card? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This card must be starting at 1 in the afternoon. That I've not seen a 15 fight card ever. But yeah, look, we'll do a separate video on this because I do think it's actually a very competitive fight between Tank and Frank Martin. I think Tank will eventually stop him, but I do think Frank Martin will ask some questions. The fight of this card is Benavidez versus Vozdik. Benavidez' first fight at 175. I think Vozdik looked good against Bolotniks. Remember that fight on the undercard of Canelo versus Ryder? I think he's had a fight since. Let's have a look. Okay, fought a guy called Isaac Rodriguez. When was that? That was September last year. Stopped him when? Did he stop him in the first round? I think he might have stopped him in the first round. But I think Vozdik is very, very good. Very good. Obviously, took some time out after the Beterbiev fight. I think he kind of retired, but he's come back now. And I think this will be a big test for Benavidez because all of a sudden, he's not the big bully because Vozdik is as big, if not bigger. So, very interesting fight. But again, we'll do a separate video on that. All right, let's... Is Adrien Broner the worst 4-division champion of all time? That's a bit harsh. I don't like women. I don't like the revisiting of fighters when they start to look like Broner's looking now. Like Broner's he's just not good. I was going to say trash. I don't like doing that. Well, I kind of just said it, didn't I? But I don't like the revisionism. Right word? I think it is. Broner, when Broner was a 135 guy, was just very good. He was very good. And then he made the jump to 147 and then it all went wrong. And he should never have done that jump. I don't know why he didn't go to 140 first. Remember, he went from 135 to Paulie. And then he eventually got found out. Paulie, he just about scraped through that fight. And then obviously we know what happened against Maidana and Sean Porter. He should have gone 135, stayed at 140, and then naturally jump up. When you make that jump for me from 135 to 147 that he did at that age as well, it wasn't like he was coming to the end and did the jump like a Bernard Hopkins did when he went from 160 to 175 because everyone thought that was going to be the end of Bernard, and Bernard thought, fuck it. This was a young guy that made the jump, and that just tells me you're lazy. You're lazy about making weight. But I don't know what Broner does next. I've just watching everything, not even just the fight. I haven't seen the fight in full. I'm not going to waste my time watching it. Obviously, we saw the knockdown, but it just looked shit, didn't it? Like the whole thing just looked poor, and I was like, fucking hell, Broner, like Adrien Broner. Like, again, I know I like to say this a lot, but I thought he could have been something crazy. Like, I really thought there was a star right there, and there kind of was for a period, but it was a short period. And then if you don't live the life, I mean, I've always said that boxing's the hardest sport in the world. If you ain't living the life, and Broner, it wasn't just a case of Broner not living the life. Broner was going the complete other extreme end of that. And then you're trying to come back, and then it's just, and then he's got so many yes man in his team. Like, he walked that fucking Ellie Setback. Oh God, like Ellie Setback was walking back with him after the fight, and just, can someone just tell him the truth? Can someone just tell him the truth? Like, he's like, yeah, I won that fight. I just want someone to say, you didn't. You didn't win that fight. You didn't win that fight. You didn't win against Manny Pacquiao. Like, all these fights he says I won. I'm like, is there any, like, someone that just gives him harsh truths in life? Like, we all need a bit of harsh truth sometimes, right? We all do. He certainly needs it. How old's Broner now? I'm going to say he's about 34, 35. Yeah, 34. 34. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's such a shame, honestly, because I'm telling you now, Broner at 135 when he was 24, mate, power, speed, just that arrogance, aggression. Broner now is not even 10% of that Broner. That's how sad it is. Big fight this weekend from Selhurst Park. For those of you that don't know what that is, the non-UK viewers watching right now, that is the home of Crystal Palace Football Club. Richard Riakporhe is a Crystal Palace fan, and the fight is happening there. I'm not quite sure, like that Selhurst Park, I think is around 28,000 capacity. I don't know how many they're going to get in there. But this is a good fight. It is. It's a rematch of their fight back in 2019. Obviously, it's for Chris Billam-Smith's WBO Cruiserweight title. There's a good opportunity that a unification fight will come for the winner. But everyone I speak to about this fight, for some reason, just like, I think I've asked about 7 or 8 people, who do you think wins? And every single person has said Richard Riakporhe. And I think the reason why, well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, Chris admittedly didn't look good against Mastinek. Didn't look good at all. And with Chris Billam-Smith, there's always this thing of, every fight's a tough fight. Like, every fight he's having to go to the well a little bit. And will there be something there when he has to go to the well again against Richard Riakporhe? Because he's going to have to go for the well. He's going to have to. The first 4 or 5 rounds, I think, in this fight are going to be key. Richard Riakporhe, in his last 3 or 4 fights, I think he's gone 2 rounds, 4 rounds, 2 rounds. He's getting guys out there early. Now, if Chris Billam-Smith can somehow weather the storm, and there will be a storm, you do wonder about Richard Riakporhe going deep in fights. The size, the weight cut. Richard Riakporhe is huge. Honestly, huge. I don't know how he balls down into the cruiserweight limit. So I do think this fight could be one of 2 halves. I think Richard Riakporhe will look incredible the first half. And again, if Chris is still there somehow, come 6-7, he might grind out a W. He might. That's the way he fights. He grinds out victories. So I am intrigued to see who wins this. I do think Richard Riakporhe gets it done. I think he could stop Chris Billam-Smith. But, I mean, Chris can take a whack. And the only defeat on Chris's resume, let's not forget, is Richard Riakporhe, split decision. I mean, Lawrence Okoli hit Chris with a couple of big ones, and Chris stood there, and everyone talks about Okoli can hit hard. So I'm intrigued. I had a look at the fight card a bit earlier. Let me see if I can quickly get it up. It's a very decent fight card that I think's gone under the radar. I really do. By the way, I don't know what the plan is for Boxer when it comes to just staying in this boxing game. I think they've missed out on a couple of really big fights that would have helped them. I mean, they were very close, I know, to getting Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. Very close. They should certainly have ran back Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields, but they didn't do that. All right, let's have a look at this card again. All right, Isaac Chamberlain versus Jack Massey. Really good fight. Commonwealth and European Cruiserweight title fight. I do want Chev Clark to fight the winner. Even the loser won't be bad. Ben Whittaker versus Ezra Aranyeka. Is he Nigerian? I think he is. Ezra Aranyeka. Yeah, he is Nigerian. 12-0. Remember, he's the guy that turned up to Ben Whittaker's last fight at the presser. And look, he's talked himself into a fight. Good luck to him. This is an interesting one. Dan Aziz versus Roy Sepp. Hope I've pronounced that name correctly. I probably haven't. Sepp, look, I've just said this is an interesting one. Then I realized Sepp lost his last fight to Omar Garcia by majority decision. Omar Garcia was 18-11. The reason I was excited about this fight up until seeing that, because I remember when Sepp fought Ricard Bolotnik, I was there. I did that fight in Spain. And Sepp has a very good amateur record. Everyone was hyping about Sepp. And he came on strong in that fight, and Bolotniks had to hold on a bit. But I looked at him and I thought, okay, fundamentals are very, very good, big and strong for the light heavyweight division. But knowing that Omar Garcia lost, don't know now. Maybe not. Maybe this is a really good comeback fight for Dan Aziz. Only an 8-rounder as well. What else on this card? That's kind of really it. But that's not bad. Chris Billam-Smith, Riakporhe, Isaac Chamberlain, Jack Massey, Ben Whittaker versus Ezra. I'm not going to try and pronounce. I should be able to pronounce this. Aranyeka and Dan Aziz versus Sepp. It's not the worst. Billam-Smith. So I'm going Riakporhe, mid to late stoppage. Isaac Chamberlain, points. Ben Whittaker, points. I'd like to see a stoppage. And Dan Aziz, points as well. All right. Anthony Joshua told to forget about Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury for now. Yeah. He has to. I mean, what can he do? They're fighting again in December. AJ looks like he's going to come out in September. It looks like it's going to be Daniel Dubois, so the focus should all be Daniel Dubois, because Daniel Dubois right now he's doing good stuff. So yeah, forget about Fury Usyk and focus on Daniel Dubois. I do feel sorry for AJ. Like, obviously the Wilder fight ain't going to happen. Fury fight might not happen. To be in the same era as those two and have not fought them, not AJ's fault, I don't believe. It's a bit sad, isn't it, if I'm honest with you. What else have we got? Let's have a quick look, see if there's any other stuff. Arnold Barboza wants to Tank Davis winner, makes his call on who that will be. No, not at all. No, I was watching Arnold Barboza. I was there for his fight. Remember, he fought on the undercard of Garcia Haney. He lost that fight. He's so lucky to still be a world champion. Is he a world champion? Wait a minute. What belts Arnold Barboza got? Is he a world champion? I know he's unbeaten. Let's have a quick look. Oh no, sorry, apologies. He's the WBO Intercontinental Super Lightweight Champion. But he's so lucky. He lost that fight to Sean McComb. Right now, I feel like his best bet is Jack Catterall. By the way, I think I was going to do a video on this, like what next for Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor beats him. I think Josh Taylor looked really sharp. But look, he's not going to want that fight. Jack Catterall makes more sense. It's a fight that should be made quite comfortably between Golden Boy and Matchroom. I like that fight. The winner of Javante Frank. I don't think so. I do not think so. Matchroom have no regrets over whitewash from Queensbury. They should have concerns. Maybe not regrets, because it was fantastic. You put guys in 50-50 fights, people are going to lose. But I think there should be concerns with the American talent. Like, I don't know how much Matchroom would have spent on Ammo Williams and Raymond Ford, but it must be disappointing. Like, you've lost the world champion in Raymond Ford. You should definitely be concerned. Maybe not so for Wilder. Wilder is just a gamble. If it plays off, it plays off. Certainly for Hrgovic, again, another unbeaten fighter. There should certainly be concerns with your unbeaten fighters losing. Ammo Williams, unbeaten. Ford, unbeaten. Hrgovic, unbeaten. You should be concerned about that. And I think there should be massive concerns about Craig Richards losing. Like, that was the one where I was like, okay, Craig's winning this. And Craig didn't seem to get out of third gear until round 8, 9. Then it was just too late. And not only that, even when he started to claw it back, he still started to get hit a lot. So, yeah, there should certainly be concerns. All right, let's have a look. Oh, well done to Ricky Hatton, by the way. I see that he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, fully deserved. Like Ricky Hatton, I mean, some of the nights he gave us, some big wins as well. Obviously, a couple of really big defeats, but he lost to Pacquiao and Floyd. Those were the two big ones. I know he lost later on in his career, but Floyd and Pacquiao, fuck me. At the time, they were pound for pound. Like, he's fighting and losing to the pound for pound kings of boxing. Zero shame. So really happy for Ricky Hatton. Michael Hunter. I want Usyk again, but on a full belly this time. Okay, he wants him at heavyweight. Michael Hunter, I can't understand how, since that Povetkin fight, which is on the undercard of AJ Ruiz 2, he has literally just vanished. In terms of notoriety, he's vanished off the face of the earth. Like, when you think of what all the other heavyweights are doing, how everyone's getting an opportunity, everyone's in the mix, Michael Hunter just... There was a time when Michael Hunter, for me, was a top 10 heavyweight, and I was calling for Hunter to fight Parker. I have no idea what's going on with Michael Hunter. No idea. A good fight for him potentially could be Dillian Whyte, because Dillian Whyte seems to have not said or done much since he's win as well. So maybe that's a way to come back in. But what a strange, what a strange few years it's been for Michael Hunter. Like, didn't he sign to Triller or something, and that didn't work out? Let me have a quick look at Michael Hunter's record. We're going to wrap on this one. How old is he now? 35. Fucking hell, man. 35 is mad. When he beat Povetkin, or that draw, was it a draw? Yeah, draw with Povetkin. 30, perfect age. Since then, he's just not had the fights, has he? Cassius Chaney last time out went to points. I don't even know who this guy is. He fought a guy called Ignacio Esparza that was 319 pounds. Jerry Forrest was a draw. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's a shame. All right, guys, girls, peace.